Everyone, it's Kathy, and you're back here in my craft room and back on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Many of you already know that I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina. I can take care of your stamping needs no matter where you live throughout the United States. So if you are looking for a demonstrator, I would absolutely love the opportunity to earn your business and kind of coach you in your stamping journey with making beautiful projects. I love making projects with paper. It is a passion of mine, and if you're interested in checking out my channel, please do so. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button right below this video, and it will tell you that you can choose how you want to get your notifications. So if you choose that you want all notifications, then every time I upload a video, you should be notified. That's if everything's working properly with YouTube, which we always hope that it is. But without any further ado, I want to show you the products that I have showcased today. And one of the cards that I made was this one here, and it was using this little angel circle out of this So Very Merry. This is an online exclusive. I had someone to ask me in the Friday's live video, what did my dots mean? And these dots are simply for both of our benefit. The yellow dot means it's from the mini catalog, the current mini catalog. We are getting ready to start a new catalog on September the 6th. It will go live, and I've had the opportunity to pre-order some of the items so that I can kind of give you a sneak peek. We can't open the catalog. I can show you what it looks like on the front, and many of you have already seen it, and many of you that order from me have already received your catalog. Now if you're not a customer of mine and you want this gorgeous catalog with, I can't show you, but there are some beautiful items in this catalog. And if you didn't see my unboxing, it was done on August 11th. Please go check that video out. I also have a blog where everything that I do is always posted there, along with PDF tutorials for every project. Again, with these, the red means online exclusive, which means they are nowhere in any catalog. You can only find these products by going to my website and type in the search bar online exclusives, and those will come up. Another online exclusive is the basic embossing folders, and they're also located on the online exclusives. You won't find these in any of the catalog, not the annual catalog or the mini catalog. So those are just some of the items that you may want to look for. Now if you see a blue sticker like this, that means it's in the annual catalog. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that, because if someone had a question about that, they're probably not the only person. So with all that being said, I want to bring this card back and show you. I used the Noel out of here. I used this little sprig, and that's that right there. And then from the So Very Merry, I used this angel, and look how beautiful that colored and punched out. And I decided to put her in a red and green dress so she would look festive, and I gave her some beautiful pink wings, and I did her hands and her face in a flesh color. So that's how I did that. The Joy of Noel has these beautiful dies that goes with it, coordinates beautifully, but you also get a die that cuts out everything that's on here, but you have a little extra stamp set here with some greenery that is beautiful. The Noel stamps like this, and the die is like that, but as you can see, it cuts the letters out separately. So, and I'll be showing y'all that as we go along. The first thing I want to do is I want to bring my trimmer up, because I dropped it, sorry about that. We're going to cut some cardstock first. So I'm going to bring my trimmer up and sit it right here. And I have some cardstock right here. Here is our thick basic white. Let me make sure I've got two pieces. I thought I did. It's nice and thick, but it wasn't quite that thick. So I'm going to cut this to 5.5. And then I'm going to turn that and cut it at 4 1/4. I want a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, and that's what this will give me. So we're going to do some stamping on this, and then I want to cut my card base, and that's out of Real Red, and we're going to make this a side fold card. So I'm going to, on the 11.5, on the 11-inch side, I'm going to bring it to 5.5, and I'm going to cut this just right down the middle at 5.5. Half of 11 is 5.5. So we're going to cut that, and then we're going to need to score it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to put that at 4 1/4. I'm going to move that cut blade out of my way because this trimmer has a score blade as well. So we're just going to score that just like that. Give it a nice score, and there's our score line. I'm going to turn it and fold it in, and I'm going to grab a bone folder because I want to make sure that that is creased down really well, just like that. And I think we can move this out of our way. Now I brought in some adhesive, let's see if I can get my trimmer back where it belongs. I got a little hook that I hang it on, and it doesn't want to play. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crease this even more because I want to make sure I've got a nice crease line on that. And I'm going to lay this over to the side, and then I'm going to bring out my piece of white, and we're going to do some stamping. So the first thing I want to do is take out the angel, and we're going to stamp that right about here. And I'm going to bring out the Noel, and we're going to stamp it right about here. And I need this little sprig, and I'm going to stamp that right there. Now I'm going to take Noel off for just a minute. I know it's going to fit there from the way I laid everything out. And I'm going to grab my new little tool that I got, and this is not a Stampin' Up product, but since we don't have a stamping platform any longer, I have this ultra new stamp wheel. And everyone needs a good positioning tool, and I'm going to be doing more and more stuff with this because I really love it. The difference with this is it has a photopolymer pad that's like a giant stamp, and it has a bumpy side on the bottom and a smooth side on here, and you can get these layering guides for it as well. And this one right here is for a standard size 4 1/4 by 5.5. So I'm going to use that guide, and I'm going to put this in right about there. You don't need magnets with this because your cardstock adheres onto your photopolymer, and it stays there. It's made out of the same stuff that your photopolymer stamps are made out of, and it is absolutely a wonderful tool to have. Now how it works is you have this little wheel, and this wheel allows you to do some really special stuff, and we'll be getting to that a little bit later. Now Stampin' Up doesn't sell this. I don't have a code for this. I'm hoping they will bring them to Amazon what am I trying to say? Pretty soon. That's the word. I'm going to flip this over, and if you notice, it fits right back down into the wheels, into the platform. So we're going to ink this up, and because I'm going to do some alcohol marker coloring, I'm actually going to use 2 different markers. Alcohol marker for this, so I'm going to ink this up in Memento. This one I'm going to use water-based markers, which is our Stampin' Right markers, and we are going to ink it up in VersaFine. Now I do have the VersaFine ink listed in my links, and this is a really beautiful bold pigment ink, but it is great if you're using water-based markers. So now I'm just going to flip this back over, and I'm going to position it up into those top corners, and then we are going to give this a good rub. And if you have one of those little tools that helps you press everything down, by all means you can use that on this wheel as well. So I'm just going to give that a nice little rub, and then we're going to flip it up. And I do see that I need to re-ink this one. The other one looks fine, but the Memento, because it is a dye ink, it's not quite as dark. So sometimes with the Memento, you do need to go back and ink again. But because everything is right where I put it, all we have to do is do this flip motion, And that's what they recommend, is the flip motion. The other thing that's so cool about this is when you flip it and put this plate back down, you can actually clean your stamp using your Stampin' Mist, and you don't have to worry about anything getting on your project because this is sealed. So we can take some Stampin' Mist and spray that right onto our wheel. Take your cleaning cloth and just clean all that ink right off of there. Just like that. And it also cleans your plate as well, so you don't have to worry about any residue ink on that. So you can see how useful this is because the fact it does seal everything in so beautifully. Now the good thing about me using this, I'm going to leave these items on here until I get these colored. And where I put this in with this this little L-shaped guide, I can very easily put that right back in that same spot and be able, and this has got really good gripping feet on it, and it grips beautifully to my glass mat. So I'm going to go ahead and put this like that and set it over to the side, and we're going to bring in some Stampin' Blends, and then we'll do some Stampin' Right markers for this. But for this one, Bella's sleeping again, and she is not doing well. She's actually dreaming. Bella, Bella, Bella. I woke her up. They say let sleeping dogs lie, but when she's having a nightmare, I like to wake her up. So it looks like I got a little smear of ink right there, but it's not that noticeable. So I'm gonna go in with my Wild Wheat, which this is a beautiful gold color when it dries. That was the color I used on this one, and see how beautifully gold it looks. That's the color right there. So I'm going to go in with the light Wild Wheat, and I'm going to use the bullet tip. And the reason I'm going to use the bullet tip is it gives me more control along these lines. And I am going to grab just a pair of readers because whenever I'm coloring, it really does help me to be able to center in on just what I'm coloring. So I'm going to just put some music on and kind of fast forward this through the coloring process, and just stick around. Now I'm going to use some the shaded spruce, but I'm going to go in with the lighter shaded spruce. Okay, and if you notice I did every other one because now we're going to come in with the light real red, and we're going to color in the rest of these. Okay, I finished that portion, but if you see, I got a little bit of red right there, and if you have the color corrector in the Stampin' Blends, you can come back in and just kind of push that color back in like that, and that will dry clear and you won't see it. All right, let's continue with our dress, and for those I'm alternating between the red and the green, and I'm going to do the wings and a the very pale, very light fresh freesia. that we've got that all done, we're going to go in now with the fresh freesia, and I'm going to do the wings. And now the only thing we need to do is grab a flesh color for her hands and her face. So for this one, I'm using the Stampin' Up Light 900. And we have that done. So what I want to do now is I'm going to move all of those markers out of my way, and I'm going to grab my, and these are the Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to pull out a shaded spruce, a real red, here's real red, shaded spruce, and Granny Apple Green. Those are the only three colors that I'm going to use on those. On this spray of greenery. They're holly leaves and holly berries, so this one will be really easy. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use, now these are the new markers, they reformulated them, and the nibs are totally different than what the old ones used to look like. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do a little tap, tap, tap. I think we have that one completely colored and it looks so pretty. So that is all ready to be cut out, but we still need to stamp our Noel right here. So because we have everything still positioned on my stamp wheel, we can just bring this right back in. Let's move my markers over here. And we can fit this back into the layering guide right there. So we know that everything's going to stamp back exactly where we had it. Let's go ahead and put this on. Or before we do that, I want to give some depth to the ones that I've already stamped. So I'm going to go back with my VersaFine, and we are going to restamp all of this in VersaFine. What that does, it's just going to give a vibrance back to the items that we just colored. So sometimes we lose a little bit in our coloring. We lose our lines. So you're going to see what a difference this will make. And there we go. Look at the depth of color that we brought back to that. So we're going to flip that back over like that. Oh, first we want to put this down right here. And then we're going to bring this back over, and then we're going to pick that stamp up. And now we're ready to ink that one, but before we ink that one, let's go ahead and clean this up just a little bit. So I'm going to just put a little bit of stamp cleaner onto my cloth. And I'm going to clean that because we can remove those stamps. We don't need those anymore. And I just absolutely love that I can clean these off and remove them and not interfere with anything that I have going on underneath there on the stamp wheel. Just such a nice way to be able to do that. And I don't know of any other platform that has this ability. So I'm going to wipe that off and make sure it's good and dry. And let's grab our real red ink pad. And I'm going to ink this up really good. Just like that. And let's go ahead and flip that over, lining it up, and stamp it down. Again, I can bring this over and just give it a good even press. And there we go. We don't have to do anything with that now except clean our ink up. And let's go ahead and take this off. Before I do anything else though, I think I need to close up this red ink pad. So I'm going to pull this from the corner and release it like that. And we can move our stamp wheel out of the way. And now we're ready to put our dies down on this, and we can actually cut everything out in one swoop. And I love when I can do that. So here is our die for this piece. And we're going to get that angled around there so that we're going to get a nice cut on this. Just like that. And I'm going to use a piece of my little post-it flags to hold these down. Now this one we're not going to die cut. We're going to use our 2 3/4 inch punch. This is a new punch, and it punches absolutely fantastic. This was an online exclusive, but I think it's in our catalog. So if you're looking for this punch, I'll tell you what, let me check. Not our mini catalog, but our annual catalog. I think this punch is back here. Yes, it is in our catalog, and it's actually bundled with bundled sayings, and that is a really cute set. So that it also works with this one. So what we want to do is get it angled in there just like we want it. Hope that's not going to mess with my die that I've got down. Oh, we got it. And it didn't mess with my die. That's a good thing. So that is all punched and ready to go. Now we need our Noel. And I've already got some little sticky flags already on this one because I knew I was going to use it again. So I'm going to line that up just like so and tack that down. And then I'm going to pull up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to bring this in right about here. Let's zoom out just a hair. About like that. And I'm going to grab my plates. For this one, we're going to need our base plate number 1, our die adapter plate number 2. We're going to need a cut plate, and always dedicate one plate to cutting. That's my cut plate. It's starting to get a little springy, so I'm going to flip it over. Anytime your plate starts to bow up in the middle, flip it over so when you push on it, it's laying flat. That will keep your plates from warping. I'm going to put that in at just a little bit of an angle, and I'm going to cover it with a cover plate. And then we're just going to crank that through. Just like that. And then this is all cut. So there went an L. We'll move this out of our way in just a minute, but we do need to emboss before we do. So there's that. I'm just going to lay that all right there, and we'll do our embossing, and then we'll be done with our machine and we don't have to worry with it again. But we're going to need a piece of gold, and you know, I didn't think to cut that before we started doing this, so we're going to need that, just that number 1 plate again, and our number 4 specialty plate. And I'm going to bring in what did I do with them? I'm going to bring in this embossing folder. Now this comes with dies, and you can also get it within a bundle. And the bundle is Stars at Night, and it includes the embossing folder. And it's considered a hybrid because these dies right here, these 3 are connected, and they fit inside this embossing folder, here, here, and here. And it will cut and emboss your pieces at the same time. That's how I did the other card that I showed you with the beautiful holographic stars. I actually cut it with that die, and it embossed them and everything. So that is a beautiful, beautiful set. But today I'm just going to be using the folder itself, and we do need to cut a piece of gold foil. So I'm going to set this over to the side just for a moment and go ahead and cut my piece of foil. So we need this piece to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to line it up right there at 4. Give it a cut. And then we're going to turn it and cut it at 5 1/4. And then we can bring that back in. And we'll emboss it. Now what you want to do with the embossing folder, you want to decide exactly where you want this to hit. So I would suggest to lay this in and look at it and decide exactly where you want that star. Do you want it in the middle? You want it toward the top? It's totally up to you how you want that to do. I'm going to just lay it in like this, and I'm going to lay with the folded side of my folder going in. I'm going to lay it on the number 1 plate, and then I'm going to lay my number 4 plate over top, and then crank that through. Just like that. Yes, and you're going to get that little bit of a pop because that is a 3D embossing folder. And then when you take this piece out, you are going to get that beautiful embossed star on that gold foil, which is just stunning. I love the way that looks. It's such a pretty element on a card. So now we can bring our card base in. And I meant to use my adhesive, and I always forget to do that because, you know, your glue doesn't like. Maybe I'll do that again. I really wanted to use the adhesive on the back of this. That's okay. We'll go with it and we'll use glue. But if you remember to use your adhesive, your backing, and that's the adhesive sheets, and they look like this. And they are adhesive sheets, and you put this down the back of your piece of paper, and then when you do that, these would have all come out as stickers, and it would have made our life much easier. But in my defense, I forgot. So we'll go with this. Now this did not stamp or didn't cut exactly the way I wanted it to, so I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I'm going to do just a tiny bit of fussy cutting on this piece. And y'all know this happens sometime, and it's just one of those things that we deal with as crafters, and it's not a big deal. We just use our paper snips and come in and trim that down just a little bit. Just knock back a little bit of that white edging, just like that. And I'm just going to keep going around it until I get it all the way down to that bottom edge. And you notice it always shifts to one side or the other. It's never both. And that was just where the die shifted a little bit. And if that happens to you, you can always go back and recut your piece, or you can just take your scissors and trim it back a little bit, just like this. Totally up to you. So there we go with that. And now we're ready to go ahead and put, I'm going to use Stampin' Seal on the back of this. Foil does not like glue, and it has a tendency to just really show through if you put it on the back. So we're just going to do a little bit of seal all over the back of this, and then we are going to lay this down about like so. Now I'm going to find my other items that I need to finish this card, and I'll be right back. But we're going to put this like here and this like this, and then we will be running our Noel down the front of our card something like this. I think I might go off camera and recut this, and then we'll get right back together. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and I wanted to thank you once again for being here. What I did is I have another piece of a quarter sheet of cardstock, and this is one of my adhesive sheets that came in this pack. This is a full sheet, but I want to show you that what you want to do when you're using this is you want to get the corner edge of it pulled up. Easier said than done. Usually if you get something where you can just kind of start it like that, then you're good to go. Actually, you need to pull it from this side. So this is the side that peels away and leaves your sticky. What I like to do is fold it back about like that, and then I like to take the corner of my cardstock and lay it right in. Let me move this out of our way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the corner of my cardstock right on the corner edge of that sticky sheet, just like that. Then I can pull this piece back right to the edge and lay that back over it. Then you can lift up on this side and pick up that backer. And you want to have something with a little bit of a sharp edge. You can take your pick tool. I had these tweezers already laying here, so that's the reason I'm using them. And the other reason too is I can get a hold of the edge of that paper, the backer paper, and use it as a handle to kind of pull that back, just like that. And once I get it back to where I need it, I can let it go. And then we're going to do this last edge right here, and let's see if we can grab it from this corner. And you might think that this is just a little bit too fussy, but really it's so worth it when you think about what you're going to be able to do with this. You can make your own stickers. Now if you have a Xyron machine, you can very easily use it, but this just saves me from having to pull out a sheet. Now I'm going to bring that back down because you see this little edge right here? That's still a sticky edge that I can use. So now what I want to do is I want to come back over to here, and I'm going to take my paper snips and just trim out around the edge of this all the way up. I think sometimes it works better to use a long pair of shears, so that's where I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to come across this side just like that. Now you can see that we kept our sticky paper intact, and we can just trim this piece off, And we still have all of this. This still has sticky backer on it. And we can use this for another project or whatever. So, but we have this piece completely covered now with our sticky. So what we want to do is we want to stamp on the side. And I got adhesive right there on my work surface, but that's okay. I got it off, I do believe. We're going to come in with our stamp, and I'm going to stamp on the side with the, of course, the cardstock. So I'm going to bring out my real red ink, and I'm going to ink this up really good because I'm not using a stamp positioner this time. I'm just using a stamp. So I'm going to bring this over and put it right about here and give it a good press. And I mean, I'm going to press it. We'll probably let it sit there for a bit, because what I want is I want that ink to really go into that paper, because I don't have a second chance on this one. And not having a second chance does, you know, create its own issue. But that turned out beautifully. So I'm going to set my stamp over here so I don't get anything in it until we're finished, and then I'll go clean it. I'm going to fan that just to make sure that ink is good and dry before I run it through the die cut machine. I'm going to bring my Noel back over. And see, this ink dries so quick. So I'm going to put that down right about there, like so. And I'm going to put a couple of these little Post-it flags on it so that it holds it in place for me. And then I am going to run it, and if you don't mind, instead of pulling in my big machine, I'm going to run it through my Sizzix. I've got it sitting right here, and it's going to make a little noise because it is an electronic cutting machine. But just bear with me, it won't take but a second to cut that. And here is my piece all cut, and let's put this back over here. And let's pull these loose. I'm going to tear that off very gently. And the same thing here. Now this piece of cardstock is still going to be good for other pieces. So I'm not going to throw this this piece away. I'm going to stick it in a bin right here in front of me so that I'll see it, and next time I need to make a sticker, I'll be all set and I won't have to fret with it. Alright, so we got that done. We got this card just about finished. So I'm going to bring everything back over, and I'm going to take this Noel and I'm going to save it for when I'm not gluing on foil. Foil just does not care for glue, and I know that if you've done any crafting at all, you know this. Let me grab a pack of dimensionals. I think I'm out of my big one, so I need to open a new pack. And when you order these dimensionals, they come in a pack like this. I don't know if you have not used them, you are really missing out on a treat. They are so wonderful to have for your projects. And you get 3 sheets, or is it 4? No, 3 sheets. You get 3 sheets to a pack, and they go a long way. So, you know, if you haven't tried them, give them a try. I think you will really enjoy them. They are wonderful for putting on your cards, and we got that down on there. So now we need dimensionals on our little angel, and I love, love, love the stamp, and I think it makes such a pretty image on a card. So we're going to just pull these off just like that. I like to put my other images down before I decide where I'm going to put my Noel, because the other images need to go first. So I'm going to put this right in that bottom right corner, just like that. And now we have this piece, and I want this to be sticking out about like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here, And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the rest of it. So I just want a little tiny bit of glue right here. And then we're going to grab those dimensionals and pop it up the rest of the way up. And I'm going to run it right down the middle, and I'm just going to put 3 on here. Just like that. And now I want this to go up underneath the edge of this just slightly, like that. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to decide how we want to put our Noel. Now, when I did the first one, I did my Noel coming down. You could very easily go across. You could put Noel like this. And you want to make sure you get your spacing of your letters good. That's the most important thing. That's why I found it easier to go here and here. And then I could space my O and my E very easily. And it also gives a really good look on the card because it fills in a space that normally would not be filled in. So I think I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to put down my... And here's what you do with these pieces. Now remember, we have that backing on the back of them that's going to make them like stickers. So we're going to need to peel off that backer. So I'm going to do that. Let's get this trash out of our way. I'm going to use these little tweezers again because they work. They have a really sharp point on them. And I have these in my online store, my favorites that Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry. They carry a pair of tweezers, but they're more for holding your cardstock when you're embossing. These ones are just great for putting down your little pieces. So we're going to take a hold of it right there, and I'm going to position it. Let's get this down where we can see it. And I'm going to position that right about there and just give it a press. Now we're going to do the L next, because I think it helps if you do your first letter and your last letter. And see how easy these come off? And they're just so fun because they're stickers. So again, I'm just going to grab it like that, and I'm going to come down to right here, and I'm going to put that one there. Now we can come up back up here, and let's take the backer off of this one. Just like that. And now we're going to decide where we want this one, and I think right about here is going to be good. Let's lay the E in here and see if that's where we want it. Yeah, I think the O can go right about there. Make sure you get them straight, that's important. And then all we have left is to put our E on it. And here is our E. So I'm going to hold it right down there on that bottom. And then I'm going to put it in right about here. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? I don't know if you are loving this card as much as I am, but I think it's just so pretty. And what I'm going to do on the inside, I think I want to grab a piece of... Move, baby. Move. Sorry about that, y'all. Bella decided that she needs to lay right here in front of me. Okay, I got a piece of shaded spruce, and I want to make a mat for the inside of this card, just like that. So we need to cut this down to... Oh, I got so much stuff going on over here, y'all. Do y'all do that when you're crafting? Do you just have everything pulled out, and then the next thing you know, you got a mess? I'm sure if you're anything like most crafters, you have just that. So I'm going to take my trimmer, and we're going to bring this up, and let's measure this and make sure, yeah, we got it, because we need it to be 5 1/4 about 4. So I'm going to cut it off that way and then trim it down to 4 right here. Just like that. And now we're going to take this piece and we're going to cut this at 3 3/4 by 5. So this is going to be our mat for the inside of our card. And the only thing left for me to do is to find a stamp set that I want for sentiment for the inside. So let me look at some of my new ones. Oh, I love, love, love this one. This one is Night Divine, and this goes with the Oh Holy Night set. And the dies are absolutely gorgeous because it is the entire nativity scene. And you will see me doing something with that. That'll be coming up later this week, I promise. This is so pretty, and I think I am going to use He Shall Be Called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Or we could use The Stars Are Brightly Shining, or Oh Holy Night. This set is just divine. I love it, I love it. Glory to God in the highest. That would be pretty on there too. Oh my word, I've got so many options. What do I do? Oh Holy Night, that is so pretty. I think I'm going to do that in red ink. I really think I am. And for this, I want to bring back up my, I don't know if I want Oh Holy Night or if I want the Stars Are Brightly Shining. I still love this. I think I'm going with this one. Let's see if that one will fit on our card, and I'm sure that it will. This one just really does speak to me. So let's put this piece in here. Again, I'm using my layering guides right there to get me down where it needs to be. And I want this to go up to the top just a slight bit more than normal, because that will leave a place down here to sign our card. And we are going to pick that up just like that, flip it, and we're going to ink it. Now the red rubber stamps, or the cling stamps, usually give us a really good impression. So hopefully, and I did get red ink on my fingers. Y'all know I can't do anything without making a mess. I'm going to set that right there in case I need to re-ink this. So I'm going to make sure I'm lined up into those corners, and then I'm going to set it down and give it a press. Oh, that's so pretty. Look how glorious that is. Oh my word. I love, love, love it. Let's put this piece in and we'll just stamp it right on that larger piece and see what happens. All right. And we're going to flip it. Oops, wrong way. And I'm going to sit this down into my wheel. Just like that. Voila. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let's see if I want to ink it one more time. And set my wheel into the base. I love it. Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to set that right there. Actually, let's set that right there. And let's peel this up. And I'm going to set this back on top. I need to clean that stamp, so let me get some Stampin' Mist. And we'll wipe that down really quick. Are you team cling stamp or team photopolymer? I like them both for different reasons. I love the photopolymer because you can see exactly where you're stamping something, but I have to admit that a good cling stamp, nothing stamps as beautiful as a good red rubber cling stamp. And I'm sure if you've been crafting for any length of time, you can attest to that as well, because there is just something about those stamps that stamp so well. So let's lift that out of our way. I'm going to go ahead and put these stamps back in here so that everything is back where it belongs. Just like that. And Oh Holy Night needs to go right here. This is such a beautiful stamp set. Love it. I am here I've said this over and over, and I will continue to say it. Stampin' Up! Really outdid themselves this year with the catalog. It is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so what I need to figure out is I need this to be, I'm going to come over to 4 and cut this. And let's see, that's going to make it 4. So then I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off of each side. And then 1/8 of an inch off of this side. And I think I'm going to take, I'm going to take it off up here at the top. So that's exactly what I wanted. So now we are ready to put this piece down onto our piece of green, and I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to use just some liquid glue. So let's just run a bead of glue all the way around. And then we can set this down about like that. Give it a good press. I'm going to turn it over and press it from this side, just so that I don't take any chances of smearing anything. Now we can bring our card back over, and this piece is ready to go inside, and our card is done. And I want y'all to leave me a comment and let me know if you want to see me do the one with the stars. And I will definitely do it and show you how that one works as well. Because this is just a beautiful, beautiful set. And I could see using this on so many different cards, so many different ways. The stars are just glorious. Let's see if I can bend that over just a hair. That good? I think that is good. So like that, and there is our beautiful card. Is that not stunning? Now let me bring back over my other card that I did, and it's this one right here. There is the one, and of course this Noel is not good. If I could take that up, and I might try to do that, but that Noel needs to be more of an arch rather than it looking like it's going But I do love the way this one turned out, because this one, I love angling it down like that. I think it's beautiful, and using those adhesive sheets really does make a difference. So you'll leave me a comment and let me know if you want me to show you how to make this one. I'll be more than glad to do it, and we'll definitely use the sticker. Now I did pop these up on dimensionals, the stars, so that they have some dimension, but that holographic paper is stunning. It is beautiful, and I didn't put anything on the inside of this one. I'm going to try my best to salvage this card by taking the Noel off, and hopefully I can do that without ruining it. But this card is complete and ready to go to someone for Christmas. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I love this one too, but you can see what I did here. Over top of where these big stars were, I put the star that coincided with it right there over it. So it's just a beautiful array of stars, and I cannot stress to you how beautiful the holographic paper is. So if you haven't picked up a pack of that, you're going to want to get it for your holiday cards because it's beautiful. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you want me to do this one, and also let me know which of these 2 cards you like the best, overlooking my crooked Noel. But thanks again so much for tuning in. Until next time, remember what I always say in closing: let everything that you do and say bring our Savior honor and glory. Let it be pleasing to Him. Before you say it or do it, think about your actions and let them bring glory to Him. He's so worthy. So until next time, God bless and keep you. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.